Today we're on chapter 11 and 12 of 1 Corinthians, and 11 starts by talking about head coverings, about women covering their heads in the gathering of the church. And you'll have to ask Patrick and Paul about that one. They can explain that to you. There's a lot of different takes on that, a lot of different interpretations, and yeah, just ask your pastors about that one. Let them do the hard work on that. And then as you move into the second part of chapter 11, Paul writes about the Lord's Supper, communion. And actually in this church, there were people who had money and had means and who were well-to-do, their communion was like this long extended supper and meal with one another, and they had food and wine and drink. And the people who had means were eating a lot of food and drinking a lot of drink, and they were neglecting the poor people among them and the people who didn't have food and didn't have drink. And so Paul is actually here saying that this supper is to bring the church body together to enjoy fellowship and to make sure everyone is nourished. And it's supposed to be a supper where there's unity among diversity. But instead of finding unity among diversity, they were kind of breaking themselves into camps. Again, remember earlier in the book, they were all lining up under certain leaders. Now they're all lining up kind of under socioeconomic status. And he's saying that's not right. Communion, this fellowship meal, is to bring the body together, and everyone should have a fair chance to eat and to drink together. So that's chapter 11. And then as we move into chapter 12, this is a great chapter where he talks about spiritual gifts in the body. Everybody has a different spiritual gift. Everyone brings something to the table. You are needed in your church. God has given you a certain gift to help the body function. Like I have I have 10 fingers, 10 toes. They all do something a little bit different. If I lose one, my life is a little bit harder. I have arms, legs. If I lose any of those body parts, my life is a little bit harder. And he's saying that in the church, there's people who are fingers, there's people who are toes, there's people who are mouthpieces, ears, eyes, legs, arms, and we need all of the body parts so that the church, the body of Christ, would function really well. I love chapter 12, verse 7. He says, to each person in the church is given the manifestation of the Spirit, or the gift of the Spirit, for the common good. So God has given you a gift to use in the church family for the common good of the church. There's somebody that you go to church with who needs your gift, and you need their gift. And so we are all in this body together. That's the point of 1 Corinthians chapter 12, that you are needed in the church. God has designed and gifted you for the good of the church, and God has designed and gifted those that you do life with in the church for your good. Their giftings are there to benefit you.